Alright guys, JF Auto Performance here. Look, I took notes this time. I'm getting pretty professional. Alright, a lot of things to go over, and I gotta kind of quickly go through this just because there's so much of it and I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. So, I apologize that the update's taken so long. There's been a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and you know, getting answers from certain people and things have just taken time, and it's honestly still going on. It's probably going to be going on for a long time, it sounds like. So, I was going to originally do 3 separate videos, but I'm going to try to kind of condense everything I want to say today in one. And so I'm going to talk about Summit, I'm going to talk about Jegs, and I'm going to talk about Speedmaster, of course. Now, if you don't know what this video is about, just a really quick overview. If you haven't gone back and watched the other 2 videos in this series, the Thieves of the Automotive Industry, which, you know, I probably need to change the title, but I don't know. I'm not gonna, because it's, you know, we're gonna make this an ongoing thing, it looks like. So anyways, so just a quick overview. Go back and watch the other videos if you haven't. But so Speedmaster here, they make a lot of, let's just say a lot of products. I'm gonna be polite. And well, what happened was they had some of these copies of our transbrake design that actually put our company name on it. Okay, so, and we, you know, we don't sell them to them, or, you know, there's no inside deal where it gives them a right to put our name on things. You can sit and argue about designs being copied because, well, it's done all the time, and if you don't have a proper patent, and if you don't fight the patent, or if they make a minor change to the patent, they can get away with it. Yeah, you know, we can argue this stuff all day long. But you can't argue, you know, no more than I can produce products out of my company and just decide I'm going to put Speedmaster on them. That would be, you know, called counterfeiting, or, you know, it's illegal is what it is. You know, immoral, which, you know, I like to stress even more than what the laws are and things like that. So I still have some moral code. So, okay. Summit Racing seems to have taken more abuse by reading the comments than Speedmaster has, which is interesting to me. Yeah, I got on Summit pretty good because they, you know, they got caught distributing these things. But, you know, the reality is, I mean, guys, let's stay focused here. Let's stay focused on the person that actually did the counterfeiting. Now, Summit Racing, I'm going to kind of go over. I've had a lot of contact with Summit Racing, and so before anybody spreads rumors, no, they didn't give me some massive payout to change my statement or anything like that. I'm doing this on my own free will. Summit has cooperated. Summit seems to care about what's going on in the industry in this situation. I can't prove that, but you know, maybe that's really because of all of you guys have been so outspoken about this. And I can't stress enough how much that myself and my partner appreciate the support that we've had on this. I'm really still surprised by it. You know, it seems no matter these days who's right or who's wrong, people just like to, I don't know, sometimes attack the wrong guy, you know, or just attack somebody for the sake of attacking them. But man, we're really overwhelmed with the support. And, you know, whether it's in the comments section on these videos or tons of support I've gotten on the back end that you guys don't know about. So anyways, I want to thank you guys for that. And it's going to make a difference. And I want you to keep it up. But I want the mob, so to speak, to kind of stay focused. So yeah, you know, Summit distributing these things, yeah, it's, you know, it makes them a part of this. But here's the good news. So Summit, you know, I'm going to address some questions here. There's a lot of questions I saw in the comments, a lot of things sent to me personally, even some questions I had. So I'm going to kind of quickly go over some of these. I'm not going to throw names here out of, just politeness. I don't want anybody to be, bombarded with whatever, good or bad, or just a lot of attention to somebody who doesn't want a lot of attention. So the Representative Summit, very nice guy, seems very helpful. Maybe it's just damage control, you'll say. I don't know, but in any case, so far the guy has kept his word and all his promises. I will tell you that. I go by people's actions and not so much their words. I can't tell if somebody's being sincere or not. I really don't know. But I can certainly watch what somebody does. And so far I'm happy with Summit's response, and I'm going to be honest about that. As a lot of you know, the first thing Summit did was pull the whole Speedmaster line off the shelf. They did a recall on this product to anybody who's bought one and offered them their money back. And the other cool thing that they've done is they've offered them the real product, the one that comes from Broader Performance, our shop. So I've been working with them for the few people that said, yeah, I'd like to send this back and get the real deal. I'd feel better about that. And at no charge, Summit is getting them from me and sending them to the customers that want to have them. Okay, so we're trying to make that happen. And Summit is doing that. It's already been done a couple times. So I think that's pretty cool of Summit. They're footing the bill for this, not me. I think Speedmaster should be footing the bill for it, but whatever, that's between them and Speedmaster, not my business really. And maybe behind the scenes they are, I don't know. But so that's what's been going on. So far they've stayed holding strong on not bringing back this Speedmaster line. Jegs, who I'm going to talk about later, pulled the Speedmaster line and has now brought it back. I'm less than impressed with that move, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So the big question is, a lot of guys are out there saying that Summit Racing is owned by China or the CCP or all these crazy things they're saying. I'll be honest with you, I didn't, we can do an investigation on that, but we didn't. I just don't feel like that's true by talking to them and seeing their actions. Summit says that no, still the original owner, and that has not changed. They're not sold out to the Chinese. So now, if you guys have information that says otherwise, please present it. I'd like to know about this. Public would like to know about this, but so far, unless somebody has evidence otherwise, they do still seem to be American owned. So I'm happy about that. Again, if you have evidence otherwise, present it. Don't just say, oh yeah, I know they're owned by China. Well, at this point, we got to kind of prove these things. So I don't see any proof of that so far. The other thing that people are saying is, oh yeah, Summit does this all the time. Somebody's selling something in their store and they'll steal it and put their name on it. Well, I asked them about that. Because, there are a couple of items that I thought, man, this really looks like a XYZ brand. Well, according to Summit, some of these things that appear that way are actually made by that XYZ brand, and they let Summit put their name on it. It's a contractual thing that they have with the company. I don't know that that's a case for all of the products, but Summit says that they don't do that. They have they get permission if they're going to do that from one of their vendors. So, okay. And we talked about that, you know, just hypothetically. All right, what if I sold my transbrake to you? You know, they said that, you know, if you want to sell your product through us, and they did say that they'd be happy to sell our products, that, you know, we would have a contract that Summit would not copy it or steal it. You know, or if we wanted Summit to make them, they would pay us and buy the design or whatever. You know, do it right, do it legally. Like what I've been talking about, the way things are done, you know, in the other two videos. You know, these things get done. Companies get acquired, designs get acquired, but, you know, a lot of times it's done, you know, legally. It's an agreement between the two parties. So Summit says they honor that. Again, if you know otherwise, you know, if you're a company that Summit stole something from or something, man, reach out to me. You know, let's expose this if that's happening. But don't just say it if you don't know it. You know, if you're kind of like me and you saw something and you thought, oh man, I don't know, looks like Summit grabbed that from those other guys. Now, I don't publicly go out and say that, but I've thought, you know, geez, did this happen? I've thought it to myself. But they say they don't. So, okay, the Summit Racing brand. A lot of people say, oh, that's all Chinese-made junk. Well, I don't know. Maybe some of it is. I don't know. But I asked them about this. They said, as much as possible, the Summit brand stuff is made in USA. You know, I hate to say it, but I will agree. We have lost a lot of manufacturing capability in this country. I'm not saying we don't have the ability, and if you've got a, you know, really high-end machine shop, please don't get insulted. I know there's still some, you know, manufacturing capability here, but a lot of it has left, you know, and I know, like, especially like castings and things, you know, foundries that make castings, a lot of that's done overseas now. I think there's still a couple left here, but not like it once was, you know. So sometimes it is very difficult to have a certain thing made in the U.S. So Summit does say they try to make as much here as possible. Don't know if it's true or not, but that's what they say. And I do see Summit brand stuff that says Made in USA on it. And that's one thing I'm going to bring up, kind of what I'm learning, all the legal stuff with this kind of situation. The Federal Trade Commission takes it very seriously. So, like, say if you have something made in China and you put a sticker on it or engrave it and it says Made in USA, you can get in a lot of trouble with the U.S. government for doing that. And by the way, I told you I was going to be pretty rapidly making some changes to a product in light of this situation. So I did. It now says Made in USA on it. I made some other changes as well for function, but I did add Made in USA on it. So, you know, anything from now on that comes out of here, I'm not saying there's not old ones floating around that don't say Made in USA on it. There's a lot of them, but anything going forward, the programs and everything and the next production has already been changed to do this. So I've already sent some out. So they do say Made in USA on them now. And my God, if somebody does this again and adds the Made in USA on, it's not Made in USA, well, great. The government's going to help me out now. So that's just something there. So, you know, I was upset with Summit. You know, I says, how do you guys not know what you're selling? How do you not know what's in your box? I mean, honestly, I was really more upset with Speedmaster saying that ridiculous nonsense, but I put some pressure on Summit on that too. So look, man, I know you guys sell a lot of stuff, but you don't check this stuff. You don't know what's in these boxes. Well, they said, you know, they admitted, you know, yeah, we don't look in every box. We move so many thousands of items and it's really difficult to do that. Okay, understood. I get it. And I believe that Summit really didn't know in this particular case. And the reason I say that is because I have found out from information through Summit and also from the information that Jegs has given me, there are 4 different versions of this that I've seen so far, including mine, you know, well, not mine, but the one that has my name on it. There's actually 4 different ones. There's a black anodized, it says Speedmaster. There's a red anodized, and I think it says USA Performance on it, which is a joke. Then there's a plain aluminum one, and then there's the one, you know, that we're talking about today, the aluminum one that has broader performance engraved on it. And I've seen more than one of those so far, I'll tell you, and I also have some verification that they were putting my name on them, I think primarily in the Australian market for the last 3 years or so. I have some confirmation on that, so very disappointing. They've been tricking the Australian people thinking they're getting an American product, is what it sounds like. So anyways, another thing I asked Summit if they could do, you know, you see this on sites a lot, and you know, I haven't been doing it here very much, and I'm gonna start, but you know, when I go through a Summit Racing catalog or anybody's catalog, I want to know really upfront and very clear, easy to find where it's from, you know. I know, like, we're looking for a piece of equipment right now and for the shop, and if at all possible, I want it to be made in USA. And I've actually found a couple, but most are not. But the sites and things that I'm looking at are catalogs, also paper catalogs. They say where it's made, and I told someone, I says, man, you know, a lot of your stuff just doesn't say. I see the Made in USA thing on there a lot, you know, but I don't always see something. I want to know, you know, if it's made in China, I want it on there, made in China. Well, they said they were, you know, they agreed with me to some extent. They said they would try, but they said the problem they have is a lot of these vendors, you'll buy, you know, whatever. Let's just say this hammer, for example. Say they buy these and a batch comes in and they're made in, whatever, Taiwan. Then they order another batch, they're made in China. You know, so the certain vendors seem to change a lot. And I do see in other people's catalogs, like it might say made in Taiwan and then underneath subject to change. So I have seen that in other catalogs. So yeah, that I understand. And you know, sometimes like here, like say if I provide, you know, I sell a filter for a transmission. Sometimes it's made in Vietnam, sometimes it's China. It's always different. It's hard for me to say, you know, where it's going to be from. I see other people put like, they'll put multiple, you know, it might say Vietnam, China, Taiwan, you know, so it could be any of those 3. So I could probably do that over time. You know, as I see, okay, well, they're China now, and here's some Vietnamese ones. Here's, you know, oh, here's some USA ones. So maybe I can make that clear too. So I'm hoping Summit, you know, works on that to do a better job of that. I know some of you guys are like me. I think a lot of you guys are like me. You want to know where it's from. You don't necessarily have a prejudice towards it, but you at least want to know, you know. Especially, you know, I think nobody has a problem with things made in, you know, Germany or, you know, Switzerland or something like that, you know. Expression runs like a Swiss watch, you know. It's, you know, certain places are known for quality. USA used to be very known for quality. I think that's unfortunately changed a little bit lately, but that's a whole nother subject. So anyways, so yeah, that's, you know, that's basically the discussions I've had with Summit, and, you know, briefly. Again, I'm going to stress that they have kept their promises to me at this point. I have no, you know, negative feelings towards them at this point. I do feel they were a little bit negligent to let this happen. I think that's disappointing, but on the other hand, I run a business too, and I understand. You know, things can very easily fall through the cracks for any of us. And, you know, it's all you can do is try to make it right. So far, Summit has, you know, blazed a trail here and has removed this vendor, Speedmaster, from their catalog all across the board. And they're holding strong to that. Unlike Jegs. But let's briefly talk about Jegs here a little bit. Been in touch with a representative from Jegs. Again, very nice guy. I feel like he's being straight with me. And I know that the person I'm in contact with, and again, I'm not going to throw names around. I don't want anybody being attacked. I don't think that this individual that I'm speaking with really makes the corporate decisions, so I don't want this person attacked. But my partner did a little research on them. The majority of Jegs is now owned by a company called Greenbrier Equity Group. It's an investment group. I don't know if they're Chinese or not. They appear to be U.S., but we haven't done a lot of digging into that. I be honest with you, I don't really care. But a lot of people have gone and said, I've seen, oh, Jegs is owned by China now. Well, I don't know that they're owned by China, but you guys are partially correct. An investment company has bought them. And you know, my experience in that is when investment companies buy things, they only look at numbers. They don't look at people. They don't look at situations. They have a different way of viewing things. And I don't, you know, as a consumer, as a small business, as an American, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. Now, the Coughlin family, who originally started Jegs, they do still have retained ownership of the company. I don't know what the percentages are. Only thing that I know is Greenbrier holds the majority. It could be 51%. I don't know. But basically, what that tells me is Greenbrier calls the shots. So I am guessing Greenbrier, being the investment folks, they said, let's pull Speedmaster temporarily, look for other counterfeits. If we don't see it, we're just going to put the line back on. We don't want to get stuck with all this merchandise. Or whatever it is, you know, Speedmaster sweet talk their way in, which is kind of what this guy was alluding to. I don't know what kind of promises they made or anything, you know. Don't know what's going on the back end, but, you know, I gotta say, I'm disappointed in Jegs for that. Now, you know, on the bright side, Jegs has been good to me. Not financially, but in case you're wondering, no, they haven't been financially good to me or anything like that, but they did do a recall on this transbrake product. So anybody that wanted to send it back, they would give them their money back, destroy the merchandise so that it's not in circulation anymore. They did do a recall on that. I don't think they got very many back. It's not many. It's I don't remember 2 or 3 that they at least admitted to. They sent me pictures of them. So, you know, they did do that. But that's about it, honestly. And now they're carrying Speedmaster back. So, you know, Jegs, if you're listening, or Greenbrier, maybe I should shout out to. Why? Why? You know, Jegs has stated to me they have over 800 vendors. You need this one vendor back that bad? I mean, you guys must make an awful lot of money on them to, you know, to take the flak on this. I mean, I don't understand why this is worth the risk. And say, well, we're going to hold them to a higher standard this time. We're really going to be watching now. Okay, if I owned a bank, and I have an employee that steals out of the bank vault, I'm not going to say, hey, Joe, you caught you stealing. We're watching you now, buddy. No, that dude's fired. He is fired and in jail. He committed a crime. So why do you want to risk your business, your reputation, on somebody who's been caught committing a crime? Out of 800 vendors, these are the guys you're making all your money off? Must be. I don't know. Again, this is investment stuff. Well, okay, what happened here? All right, lawyers, what do we got to do so that we don't get sued on this? And if we do get sued, how much would they get? What would it actually cost us? Because maybe we'd still make more money on the product and just pay for the lawsuit and just keep going. They look at everything numbers-wise. And it's like, well, this will blow over. The people are going to forget about this in a month or two. So, okay, whatever. We'll bring it back. And we were making money on these guys, so we'll just keep, we'll keep a little bit close eye. We'll threaten Speedmaster a little bit not to do this again. Speedmaster is kind of passing this off like some sort of a happy accident you would find on a Bob Ross canvas. This isn't a happy little accident that happened by oopsies. Some of these got engraved broader performance. Yeah, that can happen. Sure, everybody's theory is that they took my product and they sent it to the boys in Shanghai, and Shanghai goes, okay, dokie, we'll make a copy of this, no problem. And they do, and they copy it note for note. They even put the damn company name on it. They didn't know what that was. They thought, oh, maybe that means, really awesome product, They didn't know, so they just copied it. So, but you would think when Speedmaster got these in and said, okay, Jim, how do these products come out? Oh, man, they put the company name on it. Well, that's no problem. We don't want to throw away the 150 or whatever it was that we had. Let's just take a milling machine and mill this off, and we'll re-engrave it with our name on it. And yeah, they could have done that, but guess what? They didn't bother. So for whatever reason, I have my theory on why they didn't bother. Again, Speedmaster told me, oh, we're sorry that this happened. It's an isolated incident. I have a theory on what the isolated incident means, but I'm going to refrain. I'm still waiting on another response from Speedmaster. I've spoken with Speedmaster, the head man over there. I won't give his name, but I think you guys probably know who he is. He likes to be in the limelight. But just a worthless conversation. He was just very coached, very polite man, but said nothing, offered nothing. Other than, oh, we're sorry and it was an isolated incident. Well, it's been going on for 3 years from what I found out. It's not so isolated. I'm going to refrain from saying anything further on that because this is still ongoing. The Jegs and Summit thing, we're kind of, at this point, in an agreement, verbal agreement, Again, I'm less, I'm not completely unhappy with Jegs. They have at least pulled this product and have at least done a recall on them. That's fine, but it's disappointing to see them bring this line back. Or at least tell Speedmaster they need to, maybe give me the money on those ones that they did sell or something, but they're not going to stick their neck out too far for me. I see the limits there. Summit has stuck their neck out further than Jegs has. I'm going to give them that, So, I don't know, guys. I don't want to tell you what to do or who to trust or who to not trust and that sort of thing. I'm just here relaying the information for the most part. So, take from it what you will. You know, that's about the gist of what's happening here. You know, I can maybe throw a little personal story in here that kind of, I don't know, it's a story of moral value. And if you guys haven't clicked off the video yet or anything, when I go and tell a story, you might want to click off, you know, but hang in with me. You know, I want to kind of make a point here, and I hope that, you know, Jegs or Speedmaster or, you know, even Summit. I mean, I'm not bashing on Summit anymore. I think they're trying to make this right. You know, I do. I try to forgive people, you know. But in any case, I'm even willing to forgive Speedmaster if they'll come to their senses without force and just do the right thing here. I'm not asking for, you know, I don't think I'm owed millions of dollars, you know, but I'm certainly owed something. I'm certainly, you know, they could at least give a better explanation than they gave, you know, at very bare minimum. But in any case, you know, so all of this kind of reminds me of something. You know, when you're a kid, your parents, or hopefully, I don't think all of our parents taught us something, but I'm thinking maybe Speedmaster's parents taught them a different lesson than what I was learned. But in any case, you know, I was about 15 years old. I went into high school, just got there, and the high school I went into was really big, and it had, you know, it had a lot of, it had students from all the surrounding towns. So you had a lot of people you didn't know, and school was just really big. A lot of people, a lot of different kinds of people, just a totally new experience. And, you know, my last school was, you know, not small, but not all that big either. And this was a new world. And, you know, my family was going through some really difficult times. And, you know, and I always enjoyed listening to music. And, you know, my family, we had to sell our stereo system, which, you know, today sounds crazy because you can get a stereo system these days for, you know, probably $10 on, you know, Craigslist or something nowadays, or, you know, but in any case, you know, we didn't have any money, and so our stereo system was sold, and I had a few tapes that, you know, back then it was cassette tapes. For you guys, you may want to Google that. You may not even know what those are anymore. But, you know, I was, you know, really bummed out. I couldn't listen to them. So, in any case, I go to school and I meet this kid. And he's a real shifty-eyed dude and just looking at the ground when he talks to you. And he can't look you in the eye, you know. And he says, "Hey, man, you want to buy a stereo?" I said, "I'd love to buy a stereo. What are we talking about here?" And what he had was, you know, back in those days, it was it was either an Alpine or a Blah Punk or something like that. And this was a car stereo, and you found it in the higher end cars, like, you know, I don't know, Porsches, BMWs, or whatever. And he had one of these, and he's like, "Yeah, come to my locker, man, check it out." I'm like, "Well, man, I don't know, you know, I don't, what do you want for this thing? I don't have any money." Well, I used to get like $10 a week or something for lunch or something like that. So, you know, a lot of times what I would do is not eat lunch all week and save the $10. Sorry, Ma. But that's what I did. And I don't know, he said he'd sell this thing for like 10 or $20 or something. And I'm like, okay. Well, let's look at it, you know, and I'm like, and I see it, I'm like, oh my God, this is a nice car stereo. And I'm thinking, you know, I got this Radio Shack 12-volt adapter in my bedroom, and I've got an old car speaker. You know, I used to collect junk, you know, I was always tinkering with stuff growing up, and I thought, you know, if I bought this thing, and it's got a tape player in it, I could hook it up to that 12-volt adapter and that speaker I got in my bedroom, and I could listen to this I could listen to my tapes in my bedroom. How cool would this be? I mean, I didn't have a car or anything, you know. And I'm like, how cool would this be, you know? He's selling it so cheap. I'm like, man, does this thing work? Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't question where it came from or anything. I was just, you know, just a kid, and I wanted this stereo, you know. I couldn't afford one otherwise. So I buy it. I bring it home. I'm goofing around with this in my room. You know, the wiring harness is cut on it. And so I'm trying to, you know, sort through the wires, trying to figure out what's what. And, you know, my mother comes in and sees this thing. And she's like, what are you doing? I said, oh, I bought this car stereo from a new friend at school. And she's like, what? It looks nice. Yeah, I got a hell of a deal. Well, how much you pay for this? And where did you get the money? Even more importantly, I said, well, I had saved up, you know, whatever it was, $10 or $20, I don't remember. She's like, okay, who's this friend? You know, here comes the interrogation, you know. And I said, well, I don't know, you know, this kid, I don't even know his name, you know, and I met him at school. Where did he get it? I don't know, I didn't ask. You know, did you ever think that this could be stolen? Because it certainly looks stolen with the cut wires on the back and the fact that you bought a stereo that's probably a few $100s and you paid $10 for it. Why would he sell it to you for $10? You ever think it might be stolen? Well, Mom, I don't know. What do I care? I didn't steal it. She says, no, you ought to care because now you're involved. I don't give a damn whether you're the one that stole it or not. You're the one that bought it. And what are you going to do with it? You going to sell it to somebody else now? No, I'm going to use it. Yeah, but it's still probably stolen. It's your responsibility to find out where this came from and make sure you don't want to be involved with this. You know, and I thought to myself, you know, man, my mother is just, why can't she just be cool this one time? It's bad enough we lost our stereo and we're going through all this other crap in life and in this home, and she's going to take this away from me now. Why? Why would she do this to me? Well, not just this situation we're talking about now with the valve body and this and that, but there's been a lot of things, you know, as you get older, and I don't know if you guys are like this or have parents that teach you some morals, but man, it aggravates me when she was right, you know. And she was right. I should have never bought that stereo. I don't know what I did with it, honestly. I think honestly, if I remember right, I tried to sell it back to the same kid. I says, look, man, I think I said, you know, look, man, I don't know, it's not working, or I can't get it working, and would you just buy it back from me? I just, you know, I don't want this anymore. Well, of course, the kid wouldn't do it, and I don't know what happened to it. I think I threw it out. I don't know. I had to just throw it out, you know, but whatever. I mean, we sure as hell don't know. We never found out who the rightful owner is. So, if you're the guy who grows up in life and, you know, say you get to buy that dream car, you know, you're the guy that saved up and got a good job and worked hard and bought the Porsche, you know, and some loser kid smashes your windshield and takes a hammer to your dashboard, you know, and rips the stereo out, cuts the wire and harness, and just causes thousands of dollars of damage to your new car. And, you know, and some people have the mentality, oh, well, he's just some rich douche with a Porsche, who cares? Man, no, you know, that's not right. You know, you can't, don't ever think somebody that has more money than you, you know, doesn't deserve it somehow. You know, that's not the way to think. You know, it's not right to do that to anybody, you know, poor or rich or in the middle. So these are just, you know, this is the message my mother wanted me to hear. you know, is what she was trying to say is, you know, you might be that guy that this gets stolen from. I remember when I was a teenager, you know, a few years later, I had some tools stolen from my garage, and that I worked really hard to buy. I was so upset. I mean, I was so upset when somebody stole my tools, you know, and I understand, you know, when you're on the other side of it. So, like, if you don't understand my position on this, that just means it's never happened to you. That's all. You know, whatever. And so there's just a little story there. I hope I didn't bore you with that, but it's just something that, you know, it took me a lot of years to appreciate what my mother was trying to say. And yeah, Ma, you know, if you hear this video, I get it now. You know, I do. I got it a long time ago. I mean, honestly, I probably got it when you said it, but I was still upset of the situation. So what I want to say is maybe the people that distributed this counterfeit, like Summit, little bit Jegs, you know, maybe they just didn't know, and maybe their mistake was just not looking into it a little bit further. Summit has promised me that they would screen vendors a little better and try to make sure the design came from them, you know, maybe question them a little bit. Oh, tell us about the design. Tell us about how you developed it and what kind of testing you did. And, you know, you don't always know, but, you know, at least, you know, if the answers don't seem right, maybe they can just decide not to carry the product. Is kind of what they're conveying to me. And I hope they keep that promise, not just to me, but to all of us that buy from Summit, and, you know, and appreciate the fact that, you know, Summit has a lot of different items. They stock a lot of things. So in those occasions when we're in a hurry, we didn't plan ahead or whatever, or maybe we just enjoy going into the store and seeing the merchandise before we buy, and you know, they usually have cars in there and stuff, whatever. But so I don't know, you know, that's all I have to say right now on this, and I hope I didn't go on too long here. It looks like I probably did. But in any case, guys, please share this video with people. Please share your thoughts on what I've said in the comments. And let's try to hold these distributors to a higher standard in closing. And I know guys want a deal and stuff, and I know a certain amount of copying things is kind of accepted. Fair enough, but let's not let people get too carried away with this, huh? You know, so think of those, you know, because again, like I've said in previous videos, I've seen a lot of you guys out there that have said, I'm not putting my product on the market because it's just going to get stolen. You know, and that's a shame. I hate to see that. Maybe they have a product I'd like to buy, you know. We need more creativity and ingenuity in this country, and quite frankly, more manufacturing in this country. I'll do a whole rant on that at some point. I'll give you guys some background information on me and my role in manufacturing and how I've been affected by outsourcing personally before I started this company. You know, so anyways, guys, thanks for watching this. I really appreciate everybody's support. I can't thank everybody enough. I see a lot of new subscribers. I hope that continues. I hope you watch my other videos. I hope you like the stuff that I really enjoy talking about, and that's the cars and the transmissions and things like that. You know, that's kind of really what I'm hoping to grow this channel on, not grow it on this sort of stuff. I'd like to get this situation behind me, quite honestly, but on the other hand, it needs to keep going until there's a real change in the world, and I think that Summit has listened, so that's a win. You know, thank you, Summit, for so far keeping your promises. Please continue to do the right thing, because the public is going to appreciate this. and you're going to see a shift, you know. You're going to see a shift to consumers buying from companies that morally do the right thing. Even if you take a little loss up front, I think in the long run, it's going to come back to you twofold. Jegs, I don't know, guys. I think you're taking a chance by bringing these products back, but hey, what do I know? You guys, I don't know, you have the right to do what you want. So, in any case, thank you, and that's all for now.